Hi guys, well welcome back to part 5 and the final part. We're on the home stretch and I must admit this has been a long one for me. I don't normally do 5 videos as a series, but it's well worth it. Okay, as you can see, let's move that out of the way so it's not distracting. I did paint this with the copper. It actually only took one coat, which I was really pleased with. It was really tricky getting down into all these grooves and crooks and crannies, and I'm not sure I did the most perfect job ever, but I think if ever I do this sort of technique again, I think the secret would be to paint this first and then butt the papers up against it. But the problem was we didn't know what colour I was going to use. So, right, as it's been, I think, 3 days since I did this, to be honest with you, because we've had storms and rain and it's been so overcast. I've not been able to film because I like to film in natural light and I haven't been able to do that. So anyway, we're at the point. So I'm not going to show you the shells and I'm not going to show you the bits we're working on because until a little later on, because I had a slight change of heart. Now, you know that I decided not to do the tribal markings in black, and then I decided there wasn't going to be black on here at all. Well, I've been playing around with the idea of here for the shell grouping and a little bit down here, and I felt then it did need black. But what I did was I got this one, which is called Frayed Weave. It's one of my foam stamps, and yes, it'll be linked. What I did is I came in and I stamped out black acrylic paint onto gift wrap tissue, so I know it will become transparent. So the first thing I want to do before I work on anything else is to get this onto here so it's got time to dry before I actually start working on what I'm trying to say, on the beads and the shells and the bits that are going to be the decorative, because that's all that's left to do now, is to put in the decorative piece here, the decorative piece here, and then I'm going to actually use a satin varnish on this to finish it off, which I'm not going to show you that because that's just a bit, it would be boring. Basically, it's me painting a clear liquid onto a background. Now, anyone who says, why don't I spray it? I don't want to spray it because I'll have gems and stuff here. And if I spray a satin varnish over the top of that, then anything that's got a shine to it will be muted back when actually I wanted things to be shiny. So first thing first is to get this on there. Now, I'm going to, when it comes to putting the jewels on, I'm going to try and zoom the camera in for you so you're a lot closer, but forgive me for this little bit because I don't think you actually need to be zoomed in. So I've still got my little pot of Liquitex matte medium here. Now this will dry quite quickly. Now what I'm thinking is I'm going to do a piece up here, which will be the backdrop for the shells. And down here, I'm going to utilize this spiral that I created. However, I do want a bit of the black here to pull the black down and balance it there. So literally, this, as I said, is gift wrap tissue. It tears incredibly easily. And what I'm looking for is I want some edges. And I mean the edges of the black stamped area. Now, yes, I could use a wet paintbrush on this. It would work in this instance, but I'm not wanting to do it with this. And the reason being is I don't want the paper to be any wetter than it already is going to become when I put the matte medium on it. So just coming in and tearing it. I like to tear it because it gives it more of a feathered edge. And by feathered edge, it will then blend into almost invisibility. Let's just take that little bit off there as well. Right, so I think this bit is going to slot in here. I'm going to do a little bit up here and a little bit tailoring down there. So literally just coming in with a little bit of the matte medium and putting it in there. Now the matte medium will hold the tissue in place, and putting the matte medium over the top of it will make it go almost transparent. And just put that on now. You have to be careful. It isn't like the rest of the tissue I've put on here. It will tear if I overwork it. But as you can see, it will disappear into almost nothing here. And as it dries, it will become clearer. So that's a little bit there. There's a bit I tore off it. I don't intend lining pieces up. But if they naturally line up, or they want to line up, then I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to utilize it. So yes, this has been an interesting project. I'm basically testing the waters because anyone who saw my Christmas update, you heard me say in that update that I intend to do more of this type of project for the future, like longer things. Things have got a few more techniques or utilize techniques that we've used while creating other stuff. Let's take that little tiny bit out of there. So and put this on there. So yes, I'm looking forward to doing those. I must admit I was a little naive to think how much work they would be, as in how much time this has taken to do. So I'm going to have to figure that into my schedule, because this has taken 3 weeks in total. Now, it wasn't working on every week, but it's taken 3 weeks because of the other things I'm doing at the same time. See, I'm liking that, and I just need a piece to come down here. Just because of the other things I'm doing at the same time. However, it was a realistic view of actually what I was doing, and that's why I wanted to do it. Right, those diamonds go that way, so I need to... I'm trying to keep the alignment of the pieces the same without trying to line the lines up, but definitely working with the alignment of stuff. That needs to come off there. It needs to come off there. Yes, so it took about 3 weeks in all. Now, if this had been summertime here in the UK, yes, we do have summer occasionally, I wouldn't be battling lighting conditions, because as you heard me say just now, I film by natural light, and to film by natural light, obviously, I need daylight. Let's put that in a little bit the wrong place. Let's tuck you in there and take you down there. Do I need that over a bit more, do you think? I think I want a little bit more there. And this is a great thing. I can piece pieces together and they will work. So I'm trying to work out how to get this so it goes in the direction I want it in. Right, let's start a new... I've got loads of this, so obviously I'm trying to actually line it all up, when actually I don't need to line it up at all. I just need to tear a new piece. So I'm thinking if that's in that alignment, that might be what I want. So that bit off there. So as with everything that we do, we make decisions as we go along. Now, you don't normally have people watching you doing it and hearing your thought processes, which is why I'm okay with changing my mind as I'm filming, for the pure reason that if I wasn't filming, I'd be changing my mind anyway as a design progressed. I think that's enough. I quite like just a little bit in there. Wonder whether I can get a square of something in there. Can't get into my fingers. And we can all breathe. I don't like that. That looks too squared off. I have to get something. I've got a pokey tool here just to... See, this is the trouble with this, where you saw with the other tissue, I was able to lift it up and put it back down and reposition it. You can't do it with this sort of tissue. So I'm looking just for a little something that might just fit on that end. I think that might be it. Sorry guys, I know this is probably a little bit boring, but it's part of the process. And as I always say, you guys control the buttons. If you want to move on to another section, I never, ever, ever have a problem with that. I'm having a problem with getting too much glue on that copper bit though, because I don't want it there. Right. To be really careful, because at this point everything is saturated with the matte medium and could easily tear. But you know what? I'm okay. Right, that's enough. Right, now we need to work on this area here. Now my temptation is to fit it all the way down here and come up here, but I don't think I want to go all the way down there, because I'm going to set myself up for a real problem if I do that. However, I'd quite like to think of the orientation of the diamonds to match in with that. So I'm just going to come and take a generalized piece and start working with it. I don't mind tearing that on a bit of an angle. So yes, future plans for, actually if I do it that way, oh. Sorry, having a thoughtful moment for a second. Future plans are, for the masks, as I said, I'd like to do a Venetian style mask. I'd like to do some sort of fantasy creature type things as well. But it's all down to my skill sets at the end of the day. So it really depends on what I think I can achieve and that I'd be kind of happy with. I mean, I'm willing to have a go at most things, but I need to first learn how to do them before I do them, if all of that makes sense. I think that little bit there needs to come off. Now this is going to be a piece that's going to have all the shells and everything on it, and the pearls and the gems. It could be that we only see the very, very edge of this piece that I'm putting on, which is why I'm not hugely bothered if I don't get it perfectly down into that gap there. Also, you'll notice because it's gift wrap tissue paper, it's going around the corners, because of course as soon as it gets wet or moist, it will mold itself to whatever shape I'm brushing it onto. Careful, careful, Griffiths, you're going to overpaint it. Right, I think I want a bit more by here, and then we're done with this bit. Let's bring in that bit there. I think that will do. So I'm excited. This has been a nice project. I must admit, I have enjoyed this. Oh, see that tissue's beginning to tear because I've overbrushed it now. That, however, will cover it up. So right. So I wanted to do this just so that it's drying before we work on the other bits. Now, that has added a bit of drama to this. I am tempted to put it in other places, but I will make a decision on that later on. I'm looking at this bit here, and I think it just needs a tiny little piece in there just to continue the design down, just a fraction more. This is where I really struggle with my perfectionism, because I struggle with leaving things alone when most people will go, Ceri, it's fine, it's finished. Not for me. I find that so hard to do. Right, I reckon if I pop that in there, let me get in there. Just slide that around a little bit so it's lined up. Not that it has to be lined up, but I'd like it to be lined up, not for perfectionism, but because I want the result of having it. And I folded that over and it absolutely ruined it. You need to come off again. Let's not get matte medium on all of that. That little tiny bit there is going to really be the breaking point for me if I can't finish it off. I just want a little tiny piece in there, which I know quite a few of you are going, what? That doesn't even make any difference. To you, it may not. To me, it really does. It's just the way that I'm perceiving how it needs to be finished. And it could be the bits I'm putting on here are going to get covered up eventually by maybe a shell or a pearl or something. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Right, just this little tiny piece. Yes, this size piece. Right, I'm happy with that. That's fine. I know the majority of stuff's going to get covered with shells. Right, now just tidy that up a bit. So let's push this to one side. So I came in and I painted the shells. Now I did find out that the color that they show is quite intense. So I painted them with the colors I chose, and then I painted white pearl over the top of them. So it shouldn't be in that, so another piece. So put white pearl over the top to make them all a little bit more delicate and frosted. So that's those. Now I'm using this box because it helps me move things around. Now I'm going to attempt to zoom in. I don't normally zoom in, guys, so hold on to your seats because this might get a bit wobbly. Right. Hopefully, God, that is close, isn't it? Right, okay, but that's good. You'll be able to see it as well as I can. Now, the glue I'm using is this glue. It's a glue I've used for quite a while here in Britain. I'm not sure that it's international. It's a clear gel glue. It works with, let's see if I can do it this way. There you go. You should be able to read all of that on the back so you can see why I use it. After I've finished using this tube, I'm going to probably look to see whether I can find more of an internationally available glue. I know I could use a structure paste or a clay or a paste for this, but I wanted it to be clear. So the thing I'm focusing on here is this section here. Must remember it's really close. Now I'm going to use a ceramic tile, which is just out of your shot, and I'm going to put a little bit of the glue onto the ceramic tile. Now the sacrifice for being zoomed in is you won't see everything I'm doing all over the place, but know that we've got some of this on the tile, and I've got this little tool here, and I'm going to pick up little bits of the glue on the end and put it on the back of the items I'm using. So I've played around here, and I quite like the idea of the little blue shell there, and I quite like the curve of that. So I'm going to literally come in, take a bit of the glue, put it onto the back, and yes, I do have a pair of tweezers here, which I will be using later on. So I had to put that, I'm trying to make a little, how can I word this? Not diorama, a little scene, should we say. Now I did play around about using this color next, but I think it's too near the copper. Maybe we should go with a white shell. Yes, let's put a little white shell there. Now, when I've seen other people use this gel glue, they normally load it into a syringe without a needle, obviously. And then they will use that. I don't actually have a syringe here. I know, hard to believe, isn't it? Right, so I'm thinking I want one little gem there. Not gem, a little pearl maybe or something. And I want to choose one that really appeals to me. And I quite like this colour because it'll bring out that colour. So let's put that down there. Don't you roll off the table. Thank you. Now this is going to be a bit tricky trying to add a little bit of gel glue to the pearl. So I'm going to come in and try and put a little bit of a dot of it in here. Don't need a huge amount. Now, as you may have read on the instructions, this glue takes about an hour to dry. And then I'd say it's probably about 24 hours before it's fully set. So let's try and pick this up so that I've got the holes of the bead on either side. Do I like that? I do quite like that. Okay, do I need anything else in there? Something's telling me I'd like something down there, but I don't know whether that's the wrong decision. So let's have another look at one of these shells. No, that's not right. Actually, if I put it as the other way. No. I was very tempted to pull out things like starfish and stuff like that. And I went, you know, that's just a little bit overboard even for me. I wouldn't mind something like, so I'll pick this up with my tweezers. Are you still in shot? Oh, nearly gone. I think what I might do, I quite like the idea of, are you still in shot? You are. Of adding this down there. Only because it fits itself perfectly into that little slot. So I think we're going to do that. A little bit of glue on the back of here. Were there any smaller ones of these? I can't pick the little so-and-sos up. Come here, you. See, I don't like twos of things. I know. Everyone's like, oh, you can always bounce it up with another one. I could. Let's come back to that. But I quite like that little piece down there. It just adds to the base. So let's come up here now. So if I get you on an angle where you can see and I can see, because my problem is, of course, I'm doing this through an iPad, so I'm not actually seeing what I'm doing in the correct time. Right, I'm going to come in and I'm going to put some larger pieces down just to start the process off. Now remember, I made the backs of these concave, these shells, so it does mean that they'll sit quite easily on a curved surface. I've got two of these and I quite liked. Let's leave that one. I've got a feeling we're going to overdo it otherwise. Right, what would be, I think that will be. Now, something you could do, which is probably what I would do if I wasn't filming this with you guys, is I would probably lay a piece of paper on my work surface, work out the arrangement for all of these, and then attach them. I think that's okay. Right. I'm trying to get this sort of shape happening. So I need to taper off down here and I need to build up there. So something needs to be down here. Maybe I need to add another one of these ones. Trying to build almost a triangular shape. So I'm really struggling with this close-up thing because I think you're in shot, and actually you're nowhere near in shot. I think that'll be okay. I might have to slot a little shell in there. Actually, let's slot a little shell in there. Whoa. Well, I've got my mind on doing it. Let's take, that's going to be too big. Let's take one of the little ones and slot that in there. And the reason I'm doing that is there's quite a dollop of glue there, so I'm quite happy to pop that in there. And I will probably put a pearl or something over the top of that. Now, even though the glue is transparent, I don't really want to see huge globs of glue everywhere. So I'm trying to be conscious of that. I'm putting on as much as I think, but not too much. And that will just come with experience. Right, I think I'm going to need some more of the glue. Wonder if I move this up, whether you can see it a little better. Kind of. Hopefully that's not going to be too distracting for you, or in my way, which is the other option. I do quite like this one. I wonder whether... Actually, I'm going to lift this one off. I'm going to put this one in its place. I just like the colour of this one better. Now, we're going to build a background, and then I'm going to put in the structural stuff like the gems and the pearls and things like that. And then we'll just play it all by ear, because as I said, we're just playing here. Another good thing about this, it's not like art glitter glue. Once you put this down, you can move it around. You can take pieces off. You can put pieces back on, as you just saw. Now, I don't really want anything coming over because I've got nothing that will curve around an edge. However, when I build up, some of the wires may come over the top. Right, I'm wondering whether it's time to try and see whether any of these will fit in there. Yes, I think they will. Right, so I'm putting a sizable amount of the gel on the back, because I want it to tie all of the ends of the wires together and actually push into whatever is below it to hold it in place. So as you can see, I've just stuck that in there. Now I'm probably going to come in with small pearls at the very end and drop them, or at least try and fit them into areas. Let's take a little couple of these jewels. Sorry guys, you can't see what I'm picking up over here, but you see them when I put them down. I don't know if I've got enough glue on the back of that one. So if any of you out there do pieces like this and you know of a clear gel that is not the one I'm using, that would do a similar job to what I am doing, can you drop it in the comments so I can take a look at it, please? Purely because I like to do this sort of stuff, and I want something going forward that I can use, I know you guys can all get hold of. That bit needs to be tucked under there. So that bit's really annoying me there. I think that can go in there. Yeah, as you've seen, it's a bit like my gel printing or the backgrounds I make. For me, it's all about layers upon layers upon layers. I don't want that looking like that. So I just need to pick it up to have a look at it for a second. There you go, I'll be fine. Right. And I think once I start putting the pearls and things in here as well, it's going to change character on me. I think I'd like another one of these gems. Which I might try and put it in the back of there, actually. Sorry, that's incredibly close for you, isn't it? I'm just not used to this close-up stuff. Right, I've got 2 of those jewels. I might put one more in. Do you know, I don't like the jewels. I don't like the jewels with the wires. I think we're going to change tack and change it up a bit, because I'm not feeling that. I'd rather build it up with shells and pearls and stuff like that, and gems that are not attached to wires. I thought there was enough glue on there, there's not. So yes, be prepared to modify your plans, as Patricia from PM Artist Studio is known to be said. And it's true. Change things that are not working for you. It's getting very dark in here all of a sudden. Hopefully you can see that. Right, so let's just take that one out of there. See, changing my mind again. Now I'm going to put a lump of this on the bottom of this, and I'm going to have it coming off as an angle. This piece is meant to be hanging on the wall, so I'm not worried if things are sticking out. It's not like it's going to get attacked by anything, or it's not going to be rubbed up against. It should be on a wall space. Is it time to add some pearls to this, do we think? Now, I'm a little cautious as to what colour. Where are the small ones? I've got smaller ones in here, which are, sorry, can you see these? Which are, and this is from, I don't know, this, I have no idea where this box is from, guys. Right, we need more glue, well, I'm thinking. Let me just hold it up so I can actually look at it for a second. It feels like it needs to be higher there. So let's just, oh, pigeons outside my window. Hello, pigeons. Got a blue one? I've got a blue one, right. Let's stick a blue one in there. I don't want it in the same orientation as that one, so I can go up there. So I want to start adding a few more white shells into it. As I said, I could have used real shells for this, but I didn't. And I have some. I mean, gosh, I've had a bag of shells for yonks, and I never seem to reach for them for some reason. Right, now, is it too much to put that in the middle? It feels like it's too much to put that in the middle. Is it too much to put it over here, though? This does feel like it's too much. Let's put it out of the way so it's away from temptation. I need to fill in that gap with something, even if things are going to be stuck on top of it, which they are more than likely to be. I just don't want to see the mesh through it. Right, let's just pull that gem out of there. I think, Mr. Gem, you've got so much glue on you. Oh, I've got glue all over my tweezers as well. Right. So where are we up to? I do feel it's time to be adding the gems now. Have I got any? Did I have tiny? I did have tiny white ones, didn't I? Right, let's see if I can pick up some of these. I think I'm going to zoom out slightly, guys, because I'm struggling to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to see whether I can pick up some of these little white ones. Dip them in the glue. Is there any glue on that? There is now. And add these in around the, is it periphery? Trying to use big words here. Because you never know what's going to be seen from what angle. I feel we're getting there. I'm not feeling these green beads were a success. I think if I'm going to put anything in those gaps, I think I would rather them be a larger pearl, because I'm all of a sudden beginning to like the pearls that's showing on there. This needs to be on an angle other than the angle above. There you go. Right, oh God, it's stuck to me again. It doesn't have the smell of silicone, which is something I'm grateful for, because I'm a registered asthmatic, and some of the things that have got fumes on them really do set off my asthma, which I'm not happy about, obviously. So I had to be a bit cautious. I am very good though. I mean, if I'm working with things like spray guns or alcohol sprays or anything like that, I do have all the windows open and the doors open, and I do my best to make sure that I've got good air circulation, to the point where sometimes if I'm using my airbrush or propellants, I will actually go into the garden and do it in the garden. It's not worth an asthma attack, I can tell you. Okay, I think that's okay. Right, I'm wondering whether I want a little white shell there, and I think I do. So a little tiny white shell just in there. And is there a reason why I'm putting things where I'm putting them? Gut feeling. That's the only thing I can say about what I'm doing at the present, is I'm purely going by my gut. If I think something fits there, I'm putting it there. I think that's another reason why I like this type of gel glue, because I have the freedom to move stuff around. Right, a little something there, a little something there, and I think a couple of pearls, and we're almost finished. Now, I did toy with the idea, and it was definitely toying with an idea, that I might actually want to put things like a few little seahorses and stuff like that in here, but I then talked myself back out of that for the pure reason that they'd have to be molded. I've got a small seahorse mold, I must admit, but the trouble with it is it's so delicate, I'm not even sure whether I'd be able to handle it enough to get it on here. You in there over a little bit, because what I'm doing is I'm using this big shell to push the stuff forward, so it'll give me a nice area around here. I think we need to come in now with the bigger pearls. Let's get rid of that one. Now the question is, what colour? Now I've got the drama of everything. I quite like to pull some of the green back up there, but I don't have anything that's, see, this feels too big. I don't think those are coming. Oh wait, there are some smaller ones in there. Dig down, Griffiths, dig down. I could have sworn I saw some smaller green ones. Oh, there are bigger green ones, right. Let's see if I can do this without getting it entrenched in the glue. Okay, I'm happy about that. Now I don't need to go overboard. And yeah, I know someone's probably saying at this moment, why don't you just tip them out? First of all, I don't have a tray to hand to tip them out into. And if I tip them out on my surface, they'll be all over the floor. And I really, really, really don't want that to happen. That one in there. I want one more of these little green ones. You guys saw you. So basically, I pulled all those gems out, and we never used any of them. But you know what? That's the lay of the land. That's just how it works. I think it's because there wasn't an opportunity for the light to shine from behind them. Right, these are okay, but I don't want to use them. So basically we're down to this tub and this tub. And I'm thinking I'd like to come in with just some pure white. White or cream? No, let's do white. Let's do white. Right. Let's see if we can do this without propelling these all over the place. Now, I'm trying very consciously to pick them up so I've got the holes in the pearls on the sides. So when I put them into the piece, the pearls are not facing forward. Yes, I think that's going to work. Now I do have other colours of the pearls here, so if I feel I've gone a bit overboard with white, I can always take one off and put one back in a different colour. But I think I really want the white colours. This feels like it needs something down in there. Something like that. I probably can actually. As I said, I can slide stuff around, move stuff in, move stuff back down again. That's better, I'm okay with that. Ooh, don't drop it, Griffiths. It's not set yet. I'm going to come in from above, and I'm doing this so I can see where I can place things, where it makes sense to place them, for me anyway. Big fat fingers and I can't get into these things. So these are slightly smaller, but they're still the same color. Or the same type of white, should I call them? Wondering whether I want to put a little shell there. I think that one will do. How do I clean up the glue afterwards? I usually clean it up with just warm soapy water before it dries. I'm talking about on the surfaces I put them on. However, I have used isopropyl alcohol in the past. That might be okay. And shove a pearl in there. I'll be quite happy. Lift you up a bit. Stick a pearl in there. How's that looking? I do feel this area here needs some attention. So I can get this one rested up for you. This area here needs a something. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this little white shell in there. And I know I'm covering up stuff below it, guys. But as I've said before, that's kind of just part of the process. And I think I want to put a little green one in there. But guess what? We need more glue. I have no idea how long this video is, guys. As I've been editing the videos, I've tried really hard to make sure all of the videos are brought down to an hour maximum. Although I can't always guarantee that. So I'm just digging through this pearls here. And I think that's the very one there. So yes, I've tried to keep it down to an hour or less if possible. But I also wanted it to be a realistic view of how long this whole process would take. Okay, I'm kind of getting there with this. It's round here now that just seems a bit vacant. And it's sort of in that area that it needs, maybe it needs a smaller white one. I did toy with the idea of putting real netting behind these, like a fisherman's net, and I thought, well, actually, a fisherman would be hunting for these people. They wouldn't, and the warriors wouldn't be wearing netting as part of their adornment, because it's what their enemy would use. I know sometimes I overthink things, but everything I do seems to have a reason why it's there. Right. I want to put a little something in there. I'm almost there, guys. Almost there. I'll be happy to see what this looks like from the front. Right. I think if you can see down in there, I think I want to put one of those larger green ones. And then I do feel this area here needs a little bit of help. Now you could go to town with this. I mean, you could absolutely use sand on it, you could use glitter, you could use embossed pieces. Something I do occasionally is I will die cut shapes and use them on my masks. That needs something in there too. Now, I think I'm going to say that's pretty much done. Says he, thinking he needs one in there. And a little one up there. And I think the little one up there needs to be green. These are like chopsticks. The more you use them, the better you get at them. Right, we're going to call this done at this point. So let me just zoom you back out. How do I zoom you back out? There you go. Right, let me clear stuff out of your line of sight. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that. I'd like it to have come up more here, but I'm not sure I would. I don't feel there's anything I would do to get it up there. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to say this is done. I think it is. All I need to do is I need to come in with, well, that's the wrong one. With this, I'm going to use satin varnish, and I'm going to brush all of the areas that are covered in the paper, the tissue, because it will really enhance them. And then we're done. So hopefully you liked it. I will do my absolute darndest once this is complete to give you a photograph of it as a still in this video, which actually I will do now. So, hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit of a challenge for me. It was a good challenge. 5 videos is a long series, I know, but it's what it took. We did it in real time. I didn't fast forward anything. I did some stuff off camera that didn't actually make sense to do in front of you. And I think that's it for me. So look for more longer projects in the future. And if you enjoyed that, let me know in the comments. So until next time, I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter, and I'll see you again. Goodbye now.